Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2025 ski test. Today we're talking about this Armada ARV 112. New ski for 2025, super fun to ski. Obviously at 112 underfoot, we're pretty squarely in the powder ski world. And luckily for us, we had some really good conditions at our actual ski test for testing powder skis. I'm a big fan of the entire ARV and ARW collection. A lot of them got updates for 2024. Now we're seeing these wider skis, so the 106 and this 112, they're kind of getting the same changes that we saw in the narrower skis. All new shape, which I think is awesome. I think they did a really good job designing these skis. From a construction perspective, they all use a poplar wood core. So 88 to 112 here, all those skis use a poplar wood core, and they all have an ash binding insert as well. Construction is really good in these skis. You know, there's nothing like super fancy going on here, but what is just very commendable in my opinion is how Armada just does a great job controlling the flex patterns of these skis. I think all the ARVs, they just strike this really nice balance for a ski like this. They have this fun, playful flex pattern. It's pretty easy to manipulate. You can slash and smear without the ski fighting you, but there's also some strength to it. So although there's not like crazy metal in here or wild applications of carbon, they've built a really well-designed ski, and I just think that's really cool when you can take a simple recipe but turn it into something more special, I would say. This is a big ski. This is 112 underfoot, and we've got the 185 centimeter length here, 2,060 grams, which might sound heavy, but honestly, when you get this wide and this long, that's not really that heavy by a long shot. It's not light either. You can find lighter skis than this, but I do think it leans a little more towards skiing light. So maybe the swing weight feels lighter than its weight on paper. Looking at the shape here, there is a nice progression in these ARV, ARW skis. The wider you go, the more rocker they get. Obviously this 112 is on the wider side, so we get a lot of tip rocker. A lot of tail rocker too, just slightly longer up there in the tip. And then we get this nice early taper shape as well. Armada's been using an early taper shape on their skis for a long time. You know, if you think about the JJ, that's it's honestly one of the skis that kind of started using that shape. They've really just kind of refined it for 2025. Maybe not quite as abrupt as it once was. It's just a smooth early taper that gives the ski a very maneuverable and fun feel. We had a number of different people on this in our ski test. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the younger skiers liked it more than the older skiers, and I joke, but it's honestly, it's more kind of, if you're used to being on a slightly more centered ski, something with a little bit of freestyle influence, it especially comes into play when you've got a ski this wide that you're going to be taking into powder. So even we've got a freestyle mount point and a recommended mount point. Even at that recommended or the factory recommended mount point, you're still a little bit more forward than you would be on a true traditional directional ski. So kind of interesting. You know, I'd say people that aren't used to being more centered on a ski, they were struggling a little bit, kind of wondering why there wasn't more ski in front of them for a powder ski. So you just have to kind of be familiar with the technique, familiar with the feel, and those skiers that had a blast on it. And something that kind of stayed consistent through really all the ARV and ARW widths is a lot of testers were very focused on its combination of characteristics or performance characteristics. So it is fun, it is playful, it is easy to flick around, but there's some stability to it as well. It's a fairly stout ski. You know, it's not the stiffest platform or stiffest flex pattern in the world, but you also can trust it, and there's enough kind of heft here that that you can let it run. So great ski, going to be a great powder ski for anybody looking for that kind of freestyle influenced powder performance. Not a directional charger, you know, unless you are like Candide and you're like the most balanced skier in the world, which there are other people out there that can ski in similar ways. And if that's you, you probably don't need me telling you that this will work for you because you already know that it will work for you. But there is sort of a limitation to, I'd say, down the fall line stability, particularly for a more traditional skier who's used to a more set back mount point. But awesome skis. I've had a blast skiing them. They're super fun. Honestly, I really like the entire ARV and ARW collection. So that's it. That's the 112, the ARV 112 from Armada. Let us know if you have any questions about it, and we will see you out there on the slopes.